In today's Krunker video, we're going to be watching this Krunker Q&A with Sidney. Now, if you guys don't know who Sidney is, for some odd reason, he's one of the main developers for Krunker. And we're hoping to get all of the answers in this video. Krunker posted January 27th. It said Q&A with Sidney, Krunker creator and developer. Post your burning questions below and the video will release next Friday. And today is that day. So if you guys are excited for this video, want to see more like it, make sure you guys leave a like on this video and also subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into all the juicy information. This could be good, could be bad, could give a lot of information, could not. We'll see. Is that poison? And if you guys want to go watch this video for yourself, I'll have the link in the iCard in the description or the comments, something like that.
Hey everyone, I hope you guys had a great week so far. This week, we read through and answered some of your questions with Sidney, the developer behind Krunker, Brian, the CEO of Forever, and Noon, the community manager of Krunker. Alrighty everyone, let's get episode 1, week 1, whatever you want to call it if Q&A's rolling.
So yeah, apparently they're going to be doing these Q&As weekly. Regarding the developer Q&A, we've decided to make this a weekly video. So apparently we're going to get videos like this every single week. That's a nice intro though. Hopefully this is copyright free.
First question's from Johnny Mastro, and it's, are we getting Twitch drops back for the CCs and the community?
Are we getting Twitch drops back?
Yeah, so Twitch drops is definitely something we're thinking about a lot, and I think the way we want to do it in the future is to sort of couple it with events, so things like Easter, Chinese New Year, and things like that. In the past, we've sort of just done them whenever we've found the time, but I think we're definitely going to bring them back, but we want to couple them with seasonal events and with seasonal releases.
Ooh, okay. So we just got confirmation of Twitch drops coming back, which is one of the biggest staples in the Krunker community. If you guys don't understand Twitch drops, pretty much there's a streamer who has an exclusive item or maybe their own personal item. You watch the streamer for 2 hours, you get said item. Perfect example of a Twitch drop item would be like the SorableYT. Let's continue.
Alrighty, so this next question comes from Moonjuice, and that is, what sort of plans are there for the editor in the near/far future?
I wish they'd pop up the questions. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be better.
So I like that question a lot because we've spent a lot of time thinking about what we're going to do with the editor, and we haven't really done a whole lot recently, but the plans in the long term is definitely, or in the short to medium term actually, is to do libraries. So this has actually been completed for quite some time, but the plan is to allow users to use CrunkScript to create custom libraries that then other people can use. So if you were to, for example, create a library that implements some sort of custom movement mechanic, custom weapons, things like that, you can then share that, and then other people can implement that in their games as well. And I think that'll make it a lot easier for people to create more unique custom games. We also would like to revamp the UI, the HUD of the editor, because it's quite messy right now and it's not as accessible for new users.
So they want to do like game libraries to more or less you could like make your own game and you could share that information for other people to make their own games with your own game. That sounds really interesting. I want to see how that goes.
Alrighty, so the next question comes from Moon, or Moonjuice, and that is, the Season 5 announcement mentioned a big focus on increasing the player base. As we near the end of Season 6, what progress has been made?
That's a good question. Oh, and it flipped to Brian. What's up, Brian?
No progress has been made on growing the player base. We decided to balance Season 6 on being both, making the existing player base happy and hopefully attract new players. It seemed to make the existing player base happy. Lots of people engaged with it, but we're still working on the growing the player base piece.
Interesting. So no progress has been made on growing the player base. It's actually kind of interesting because they've been paying a lot of people to make sponsored Krunker videos recently. It could be Galaxy themselves. Like, if you guys did not know, Krunker comes preloaded on Galaxies now, and it's a part of like a Play Store, and I think Galaxy's been advertising that, and Krunker's been the focal point of it. But I'm also relatively sure, I could be wrong, that Krunker/Forever has also been paying people to make sponsored videos. So it's almost weird that they said that they have not been, but maybe they mean more or less it's not the priority at the moment. One thing I will mention, and I'll say it briefly, it really feels like Krunker on PC and what that is compared to what Forever is doing with Krunker Mobile is completely disconnected. They're like the same, but so different in the same way. They need to somehow like bridge the gap a little bit.
Alrighty, so next question comes from Lucy's, and that is, are you guys ever going to return older maps and challenges?
Older maps and
yeah,
challenges.
So I mean,
what does that even mean? Well, I mean, they already brought back like Stockade and Original Berg. I can't even think about game modes. Let's see what this is about.
Challenges.
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, we've already brought back some of the classic maps with the new classic mode, but we are planning to have a separate queue system where you can queue into classic mode specifically, and in that you'll be able to play classic maps like Bazaar and some of the other things. As far as challenges are concerned,
Canyon?
I mean, a lot of the classic challenges that we used to have are currently still in the game, so I'm not 100% sure. The maps definitely. We're planning to add separate queues for those.
Bad. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't really understand what they mean by original challenges. Maybe they meant like challenge level. I think challenge level was an interesting idea that I'm not against seeing come back. It just would need to be in a different way and more accessible. And I don't necessarily know what this whole queue thing means. It almost sounds like matchmaking, but that's just how I'm taking it. But it would be kind of cool to queue up to exclusively play like, I don't know, Cranked on Bazaar if that's how it would work. Or maybe it would just be classic FFA on Bazaar.
Alrighty, so next question comes from I Am the Deuce. And that is, any updates of rework and facility zombie mode?
Yeah, definitely. So as far as the Forbidden Tome is concerned, there was an exploit where it was very easy to be able to obtain that. So we wanted to make sure that we fixed that before we allow people to unlock it again.
I don't know about very easy. I think once you got set up and you could do that strat to get Forbidden Tomb, it was easier than maybe they anticipated, but they released the map how it was. And so I feel like if you released it how it was, you can't be getting mad at people for getting the item that you put into the game for the game mode that you put into the game. You see what I'm saying?
As far as more content is concerned, we're planning to do an update around Valentine's Day that includes things like weapon upgrades, a Pack-a-Punch like...
Techie actually showed me this in stream. If I can get a clip of it, I'll post it on screen. But pretty much you go up to the Pack-a-Punch machine, you Pack-a-Punch your gun like you would in normal zombies. But when you get your Krunker gun back, it has like a deep space camo on it, kind of like deep space dye and the throwable ball. And it almost makes your gun like it is in Cranked. I think you get more ammo and it has a higher fire rate, which is really, really cool. And I honestly think could add a lot to the zombies mode because surviving otherwise was very hard.
Zombie types and extensions to the map and a few things that in regards to balancing and new challenges. So we've definitely been working on that. It just took a while to make sure that it's 100% solid this time and we don't put out something that's exploitable.
So I think what needs to happen is things need to be heavily tested by community members. Obviously, the developers know the game better than anybody, but they obviously did not see this exploit. Otherwise, I'd like to think it would be into the game. Also, just to touch on this quickly, I think if Zombies was done right, especially with like these unobtainable, earnable pets, I think Zombies on Krunker could absolutely explode. I wonder if my question's going to be in here.
Next question is from Cryos, and that is, when is Zero ADS power going to be back?
That's the first time I'm hearing that question, but we'll definitely put it on the list.
So next question comes from Resolve, and Resolve is asking, why aren't you listening to the community when it comes to changes? The whole community has been asking for better servers, a good ranked mode that stays in the game, nerfs with some classes, but the changes we get is nothing asked for, and shit balances like an AK nerf.
It's a great question. So, I mean, it's...
A big question.
It's a great question. So, I mean, it's difficult to listen to feedback from everybody, so we try to collect it from places where we feel like it's relevant. For example, the ranked Discord servers and, you know, Reddit and things like that. We always get very mixed responses. It's also difficult. We look at statistics from different weapons, you know, how many people use a certain class, how many kills do they get. So it's not an easy challenge, but we do listen. We do encourage people to be more vocal about it on Discord and Reddit, because for us, as I said, it's very challenging to sift through all the comments. Some people want us to nerf AK, some people want us to buff it, some people want sniper nerfs, and if we do that, they won't be 100% happy as well. So it's a very fragile sort of subject, but we are always listening and looking out for things to change. There will definitely be some significant balancing changes in Season 7, but as always, you know, if we do make those changes, we ask people to be vocal about it. So if we do make a mistake, or you feel that what we did was a mistake, then we can always, you know, revert it or change it in some other way.
First of all, Sid is portraying himself in such a good way right now. Maybe I worded that wrong, but what I mean by that is, I don't know, personally, if I had all these hard community questions, I would almost feel attacked, but Sid's the man. But at the same time, it is a very, very hard question. And I think it's really hard, especially with a game like Krunker, because if somebody is involved with the community like me, I think I want completely different things out of the game than a majority of the people. Like, probably, honestly, if you got me, Johnny Maestro, and Cashy in a call, we'd give you 3 different versions of what we want out of Krunker.
All right, this one comes from Ramen, and that is, what happened to the Bentley?
What color is your Bentley?
What the hell is that? I don't know. That might be one of my favorite Krunker moments. Why did he reply so fast?
Question comes from Heish, and that is, when will Krunker servers be fixed/improved?
All right, so just as I was saying that this is something we've been working on, continuously over the last 4 years. There's a lot of different factors that impact network performance, like whether you're on the Wi-Fi, whether there's other people using the same Wi-Fi. But I think one of the things that we drastically can improve is isolating servers for specific things. So currently a lot of the servers are shared between custom matches and public matches. So if someone hosts a very complicated custom map, like a zombie map, it can impact the other games that are running on that server. So this is something that we want to isolate, and I think that's going to have a huge impact. So this is something that we're planning to do in the near future. And yeah, I think it'll fix a lot of the problems.
One thing I will say, I'm not going to talk about this too much because it's just typical Krunker. It does feel very bad to continuously be told something is going to get fixed and it just doesn't. But as they just said, it is complicated, and I understand that.
PokeCuber asks, what direction are you trying to go with Krunker? I understand that you're trying to make the game bigger through mobile, but there hasn't been too much update and content updates regarding PC gamers.
That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. I'm actually really interested to see what's said in this question.
So initially that was a big focus for us after the merger with FRVR to put a lot more focus on mobile, because it is a good way to get new users in. We did recently decide to split the focus so we could focus more on the .io and mobile side separately. There is now 2 teams working in parallel on both versions, which means that the original founding team plus a few additional developers are now focusing purely on Krunker.io, which will mean a lot more content for the .io web players. You'll see that in Season 7. We have a lot of things planned that are purely content focused, like a clan overhaul, new raid, and a lot of new things like that. So we look forward to putting that out.
See, like, that's all we need. I honestly think this Krunker Q&A is going to be a godsend, because one thing that Krunker struggles with a lot right now is communication. And I really don't think it's on this person or this person, but we just need something. Someone needs to tell us something. And so just hearing that they actually split the focus between the two makes me very hopeful for the future of this game. And also I feel like you can't have Krunker Mobile without Krunker.io.
Next question comes from Drew SM, and that is, do you guys actually look at the suggestions channel in Krunker Bunker?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for the rest of the team, but I'm pretty sure everyone does.
I think a lot of people look at that in Krunker Bunker, to be honest with you.
If we see something that's quite easy to add, we tend to sort of add it within the next update or two. There's been a lot of quality of life changes that have come out of the suggestions channel that got added in the last few updates as well, so we definitely check it as much as we can.
I will say that's 100% true. I've seen numerous mock-ups of updates, and Krunker actually put it in the next day or two. One that comes off the top of my mind is I think Scum posted a mute option, and then quite literally the next day, Krunker put it in the game. I will say, and I understand why the questions are what they are for this first Q&A. It seems like a lot of these questions are just asking the exact same thing, but phrased differently.
So what's your goal for the future of the game? Will there also be anything content-wise that will be added that can lead to more growth of the game?
Yeah, so it's hard to look into the long-term future, but I think what we need to do is focus more on content that allows content creators to produce more videos. So things like survival mode, battle royale, extending the zombies mode, ranked mode, things like that have longevity. Because I feel like a lot of the stuff that we have added, like raids, they only last 2 to 3 weeks, and then people kind of tend to get bored with it. So definitely more content that is also providing content creators with things to make videos on. I think that's a good first step.
That's something I've actually been thinking for 4 years. I've always wanted more content updates to make more content videos with it. Appeal, numbers, getting people in stuff, especially in video games, is like content creators. So if me and my peers could make more content on these content videos to show people the stuff's in Krunker, we could get more people in Krunker in theory. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I could get this many people in here if they made this update, because it really is up in the air, and more or less I just want stuff to make videos on. But I do genuinely think adding more content updates into the game will get people to play more regularly, and I also think it'll give a lot of people more reasons to come back to Krunker, especially if Krunker content creators are posting videos saying, hey, look at all of this content.
Cobalto asks, are there any plans to add inspection and or reload animations to the weapons?
Yes, so this is something we thought about a lot. The reason we haven't done it is because the characters are currently generated through code. What we want to do is have proper rigged characters with skeletons and things like that, which will not only allow us to do reload and inspect animations, but also to do, like victory animations, dances, and things like that in between rounds. So there's a lot of things we want to do with that system, but I wouldn't say this is a short-term or medium-term thing. This is probably more in the long term. term, but we definitely do want to do it. It just takes a lot of time.
That is really cool. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Mayo Roblox fan actually made a reload animation, and everybody loved the way that looked, and it's been something that I think a lot of people want in Krunker. There's something about just like putting your gun down slowly and pulling it back up that doesn't look that bad, also doesn't really feel that good. Especially with like certain unobtainables in the game and certain contrabands, they could have custom reloads, which could add value to said item. And personally, with the little X inspect where you go, I like that personally, but if we could get like an actual inspect, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be very challenging to have a particular inspect for a certain class that goes over all models though. By the way, I'm not even done with this yet. I already feel infinitely better about the future of Krunker, and I really, really appreciate this. Krunker and everyone affiliated with this, Poison and Sid, you guys are gods.
Ligmabots asks, Sid, when was the last time you had a haircut?
The last one I had was last week, and before that, I think it was like 5 months ago.
5 months, my lord. If I go like 2 months without a haircut, mine goes down to like, it starts just growing. I really hope I'm in this Q&A.
Next question comes from Cowser Cool, and Noon is going to be responding this one, and is Q&A is going to be a consistent thing.
Basically, what we've decided to do is make this a weekly video where you guys can submit your questions on Twitter or Reddit, and each week, Sidney or someone from the team will pick and respond to 10 questions. Of course, Poison will still be there to host these in the future.
See, I think this is such a good idea, and I honestly think this is the form of communication we need.
Next question comes from Lunatize, and that is it possible and or will there be more customizability in the game?
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, this is a bit of a spoiler for the next season, but what we've done now is we've separated hats and helmet items.
What?
So head items that go on top of your head versus items that cover the bottom of your head are now separate. Same with body and back items. So you're able to equip wings, let's say, but also a t-shirt or a piece of armor at the same time. So that's just one of the ways we make it more easy to customize the character. And we also do plan on keep adding more item types, like the pets that we've added, shoes, trails, perhaps, things like that in the future.
Trails would be kind of cool.
This one's from...
When they said customization, I was more thinking like settings customization for some reason. And this was another thing leaked in my channel, and I think other people's channel, surely. But they are now adding, as you guys heard, the head and hat option, or the head and helmet. I don't know, you guys get the gist. You could put like Cirque Angel on, or just the little halo, and then you could have like a head item on as well. And also, Techie showed off that you can now have back and body, which is literally insane. Because Moonfeather used to just be a back or body item, one of the two. And now you can have both. Krunker fashion is about to explode.
This one's from Mario Krunker, and that is, will there be any events like the infamous Alien event? People really liked it.
525.
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, that specific event was more of a personal thing that I threw together when I was bored one weekend. But I think
that was so
I would
mesmerizing.
definitely like to throw something else like that together in the near future. Just a question of how much time we have to invest.
I think of Krunker, I don't know if you guys know what 525 was. There was like a UFO above Little Town. There is this stuff that you could shoot. It would open up an entryway in Little Town to show you this tombstone with a bunch of foreign language on it. And then when you put it into a certain website, it'd show these like creepy images, and it was some huge Easter egg. I genuinely think that if Krunker could do this right and in a simple enough way, I think it could be a lot of fun for the whole community, and it could bring a lot of hype to anything. What is that, Sid? What does that mean?
Yeah, so this is a difficult one for us because we feel like we've tried a lot of different things, from community ran tournaments to Face It to the ranked system that we had previously, the in-house ranked that we built, the queuing system. I think what we want to do is to collect a lot of feedback from community and really see what exactly it is that you guys want. I would say within the next 6 months, we would like to have something out that gives players that want a ranked experience, something to play for. But it's something that we really need to put a lot of thought into because we've tried it before and it didn't work out the way we want. So the next time we do it, we want to do it right. That means high-tech servers,
high-tech would be really nice.
Things like that. But we've
better
promised that before and we under-delivered. So when we do it again, we want to make sure we do it properly, and that's going to take a bit of time and a lot of community feedback and us working together with players and stuff. So yes, definitely in the medium-term future.
I don't know if you guys remember the original Krunker ranked. Pretty much you queued for either 1v1 2v2 or 4v4, and you would go in, you would play. If you won, you got MMR. If you lost MMR. Personally, to me, I feel like as long as you put a rank onto the MMR system and maybe gave a certain reward to a certain rank, or maybe everyone over a certain rank, I think that could be simple and fun. I also will say I'm not a competitive player. I don't know what people really want out of this.
Next question comes from PokeCuber, and that is,
PokeCuber got 3 questions and Sorable didn't get 1.
Will you implement a way to search a user by their premium name?
That's a very good question. This
like
isn't
that's not
something
that
we've actually thought about or that I've seen, but definitely now that you've mentioned it, we're going to do that.
So this was the first Krunker Q&A with Sidney. I don't know what I was expecting from this. I think I was looking for a lot more answers than what we got. A lot of the stuff we got was like, yeah, we're working on it. It's gonna be there in the future, which is perfectly fine. My personal thoughts over this first Q&A is it gave me a lot of hope for the future. Just to hear that this is happening, or to hear that this is being worked on, or to hear that the mobile and the .io teams have been split to focus on both now is a huge thing. This communication is huge. Like, communication is paramount right now in the Krunker community. And as long as we keep getting videos like this that give us hope for the future, and as long as those things actually do happen in the future, it makes me very, very excited for Krunker. Also, all of the things Sid were talking about with the stuff coming out in the game, Rails, a new raid, I can't wait. And I honestly feel like this form of communication works better than just posting in Krunker Bunker. I will say I don't know how many people are going to see this opposed to on Krunker Bunker or vice versa, but like just knowing your exact tone when you're saying it and hearing you say it out loud is a little bit different than reading like a huge at everybody on Discord. Part of me almost would like a monthly Krunker update on this YouTube channel. It doesn't even have to be like the near future, it doesn't have to be the long future, just like talking about what's going on in the office and talking about what's going on with the game's development and for the future. But let me know what you guys thought about this first Q&A. From what I've seen on it, it seems like people are pretty happy with it. Yes, Sidney is buying a new microphone for better quality. Good deal. We needed this. W Krunker, agreed. And I honestly like the fact that they brought in somebody from Forever and they also had Noon on here. This video has given me a lot of hope and I'm really excited. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it's all good and enjoyable and not too long. I just talked for 40 minutes about a 12-minute video. What are you guys gonna do about it? Thank you guys so much for watching this video once again, and as always, it's been your boy CJ or Sorable, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.